Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti nः Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. 11th mantra, let us chant. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. 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 Tapashraddhe hyupavasantyaranye. Tapashraddhe hyupavasantyaranye. Shanta vidvamso bhaikshcharyam charantah. Suryadvarena te virajah prayanti. Yatramrutah sapurusho hyavyayatma. There were 3 different stages in spiritual journey that are being pointed out. 2 of them have been already pointed out. First person had ashraya, support in karma. Long description was there about greatness of karma. First Upanishad made sure that we appreciate the importance of karma and its relevance and its efficacy. But somebody who lives only karma-shrita life, takes support only in karma, doership becomes very strong. And that doership gives him sorrow. So somewhere he sees the fallacy of living a life only centered around doership. Then comes the second stage, where Upanishad says, instead of being karma-shrita, become upasana-ashrita. He continues doing karma, gets the benefits of karma, minus all the stress, strain and anxiety. Because his ashraya has shifted from karma phala. Ashraya shifted from result of action, being anxious about it. It has shifted from strong doership to Bhagavan. That switch is this upasana ashrita. What does the life of such a person look like? Tapashraddhe. Whatever duties are enjoined to him, he does them sincerely. That itself is his tapasya. Doesn't have to do anything separately. Training the mind to do things, whatever is enjoined to him, in a sweet way. Shraddha means upasana, does upasana. Aranye, upavasanti aranye, loves solitude. What is his mind like? Shantaha. Sense organs are not turbulent, therefore mind is calm. Bhaikshacharyam charantaha. Vidvamsaha bhaikshacharyam charanta. Vidvamsa here refers to Garhastha-ashrami, one who has a God-centered life. He alone will be able to taste this shanti, taste this peace, which was not available for karmi. And bhaikshacharyam charantah meant he is not hoarding more than what he needs. Suryadvarena te virajaha prayanti. Those people whose negative tendencies have gone down, vasanas have gone down, and they have lived a good life, kept their mind in Bhagavan. Their journey here and hereafter is very well taken care. Suryadvarena, through Uttarayana Marga, they go. Where do they go? Yatramrutaha sapurushaha hi avyayatma. They go to higher worlds where Hiranyagarbha resides. It could be the world of their Ishtadevata, Kailasaloka, Saketaloka. That is the destination. Then Shankaracharya brought up a topic. Why can't this be absolute moksha? He said this can't be absolute because going and coming is there. One who has identified with the self, all-pervading infinite self, one who understands this whole Brahmanda is in me. That person doesn't have to go to a particular location in this Brahmanda. It might be the most exalted locations, but it is within Maya. Therefore, this cannot be absolute moksha. And the topic is not of absolute liberation. We are discussing apara vidya, lower knowledge. So moksha which is pointed out will not be kaivalya moksha. Okay, he says something more is coming. Now just like a person graduated from karmashraya to upasana ashraya. Now this same sadhaka who has gotten the benefits of karma and upasana, he is graduating to the third stage, which is Brahma Ashraya. So who will benefit most from study of Vedanta? What is the responsibility of a student of Vedanta? And what are the qualities of a teacher? 3 topics are highlighted. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanah. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanah. Nirvedamayan nastya krutah krutena. Nirvedamayan nastya krutah krutena. Tadvijnanartham sagurumeva bhigachet. Tadvijnanartham sagurumeva bhigachet. Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahma Nistham. Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahma Nistham. Together. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanah nirvedamayan nastya krutah krutena tadvijnanartham sagurumeva bhigachet Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahma Nistham. Who will benefit the most from Advaita Vedanta? Upanishad says, Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmana. That person who has analyzed this world and one who has come to understand the hollowness of this world, which includes people and objects, to give lasting joy and happiness. Pariksha Lokan. Iksha means to see. Paritaha Iksha means to see from different facets. Not only one point of view, one who has very thoroughly seen a thing from different facets, that is called as Parikshanam. One who does this Pariksha is called Parikshit. So Parikshitji Maharaj, it is said, was constantly looking for who is Bhagwan Krishna. One who saved me in my mother's womb, right from birth he was looking for him. So that Parikshanam, one who has analyzed this world, and analyzing the world is not some technical analysis. Shankaracharya says, I will give a question paper. You write down different points about what has your life experience taught you about nature of this world. And he says, you do your writing, I will do my writing. Then let us match. What was your perspective about this world and what is my opinion about this world? So there is an elaborate commentary on this mantra, just on these two words, Pariksha Lokan. Loka means what are the different types of worlds? What is nature of world? And how should I inquire? That detail Shankaracharya is going to give. So we are going to see that bhashya slowly, without rushing through it, so that we can reflect more and more on each word of that bhashya. Anytime you feel like reorienting yourself to be a better student of Vedanta, this is the commentary we have to read, Pariksha Lokan. The elaboration that Shankaracharya gives on these two words. And he says, don't make it very technical, just look at your own life experiences and appreciate the impermanence of everything in this universe. If we say something is our goal, whatever that thing is of this world, it could be some power, some position. If it is an impermanent goal, then the amount of effort that I spend, amount of time that I invest, that itself should remind me that this is not the proportionate effort and investment. There is some other goal which I can keep. So he says, first thing to note is the impermanence. Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmana. What happens when you examine? He says, when you examine, we should get Vairagya. So the word for Vairagya here is Nirvedam Ayat. Ayat means should come, or one to whom this has come. So what is Vairagya? Alternative word here, Nirveda. Nirveda. Bhagwan Krishna uses this word in Bhagavad Gita. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyasi tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. He says, when our delusion about this world goes away, moha kalila, and our intellect becomes steady, understands the limitations of this world. What happens after that? Tada gantasi nirvedam. At that time, Vairagya dawns upon that person. What is the nature of Vairagya? Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. What he has heard and what people are telling him, he has no interest in it. In the sense, if somebody comes and says, there is some place you have to go. If you go there, it is so nice. I just went. or some person you have to meet. Whatever those futuristic plans are, no interest to know any of that for happiness. That is called as Vairagya. Shankaracharya clarifies, Vid means to know. If you add nir upasarga before that, it becomes nirveda. So how will you translate nirveda as Vairagya? He says no interest to know about any kind of object, person in this world who promises permanent happiness. Not because somebody else is telling, because he himself has seen it. Pariksha Lokan means he has himself analyzed and come to this conclusion that eternal joy cannot be attained through any action. Nirveda, it is said, this is the 10th rasa. There are navarasas. If you see any kind of theatre performance, they have 9 different rasas. Shrungara rasa, Raudra rasa, Bibhatsa rasa, which bring different emotions, fear, compassion, beauty. Like that, 10th rasa is Shanta rasa. Shanta rasa means where you feel a sense of peace within. What brings that Shanta rasa is Nirveda. So the Sanskrit definition is Nirveda Sthayi Bhava Asti. Sthayi Bhava means which makes the mind still. If you read Ramcharitmanas, in several places it comes. They saw this dialogue between Bharatji and Bhagwan Rama. Everybody went into Samadhi. I mean, that is the Shanta rasa, where mind is not demanding anything of this world. Not craving anything. Shanta api navamaha rasaha. Some of them count it as the 9th rasa, but in some places it is added as the 10th rasa. One of the rasa, that is the main point. That which brings shanti, that which brings peace and quietude, it is not an action. That which brings peace and quietude is Vairagya. How did he get it? By parikshanam, by analyzing this world. Now, what is going on in his mind? How did he get this Vairagya? What are the dialogues in his mind? That is the last part of the first line. Nirvedam ayat is there, right? After that is na asti akrutaha krutena. Akrutaha means uncaused happiness, uncaused bliss is not attained by doing something. Krutena means by performing some action, by doing something, by going somewhere. Akrutaha nasti. Krutena akrutaha nasti. By doing some action, this uncaused bliss is not attained. Because he realizes everything which is there over here is karma phala. So kruta means karma. Whatever actions I do, all it can produce is some karma phala. And what is the nature of this karma phala? It is impermanent, it is time bound. It doesn't have the ability to remain forever, no matter which karma phala it is. Take praise, for example. It is true that praise might give joy to somebody. But when he does parikshanam, he realizes that same source from which praise came, after some time that same source criticizes also. And praise gave joy. He says that same joy will not continue. That is the meaning of this phrase, akrutaha krutena nasti. Uncaused bliss is not attained through any action. in Srimad Bhagavatam, to explain this point of Vairagya, there is a nice elaborate description of Devahuti ji's journey. Devahuti ji's husband was Kardama Rishi, great tapasvi. Because of the seva that Devahuti ji did, he asks, you tell me what boon do you want? And she had done so much of seva, not thinking about herself. She says, I want to enjoy this world. And the description of that world that Kardama Rishi creates, even to imagine it is very difficult, 7-storied flying castle. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this description is there. And how it was decorated. There was swimming pool inside, different things were there. And for a long time, they enjoy, both of them. Then when they come back, the condition Kardama Rishi had put was, after the first child is born, or first son is born, I will take sannyasa. And Devahuti ji had happily agreed to that condition. Kapil Bhagwan is born, and at that time she says one sentence when he is ready to leave. Sa aham bhagavato nunam vanchita mayaya drudham. He says, Bhagwan, Kardam Rishi, in this whole journey of ours, one thing I have understood for sure, that I have been cheated by Maya. Vanchita mayaya drudham. Very well cheated, certainly cheated by Maya. Kardam Rishi says, why do you say so? She says, I got your sanidhya. I got your company. And what I asked was world. So I could have asked the supreme-most liberation, but what I ended up asking was something within Maya. Then when Kapil Bhagwan begins to teach, so Kardam Rishi says, don't worry, your son Kapil Bhagwan, he will teach. Whatever questions you have, you ask him. And Kapil Bhagwan is teaching. She says another line, which is also very oft quoted. Nirvinnam nitaram bhuman asadindriya darshanat. Meaning these sense organs had so much of craving. But they are asadindriya. Asadindriya means no matter how much you try to satiate them, it never gets satiated. And looking at this running around that we are doing for happiness, she says, I have gotten dispassion. Nirvinna means gotten turned off from sense objects. Not in a bitter way. Turned off from sense objects in the sense, with the promise for being happy, that hope, from that hope she has gotten turned away. That's a very nice example. Now, what is the responsibility of the student? First one was, who will benefit the most? Who will benefit the most? One was examined the world, seen the impermanence of results of action, and gotten Vairagya. If you want only one criteria, you say, one who has true dispassion will benefit from Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. How did he get dispassion? Pariksha Lokan. Now, dispassion is good. It's a great qualification. When that comes, how will you know whether that dispassion is true dispassion or not? Whether his quest for something higher is true quest or not? Upanishad mantra says, that quest will take him to a teacher. Tad vijnanartham saha gurum eva abhigachet. Abhigachet means he should go. Tad vijnanartham. He knows that there is something higher that he is seeking, something permanent that he is seeking. But he doesn't start studying it on his own. doesn't start inquiring about it on his own. So, two qualities which are mentioned here, hidden qualities. One is faith, another is humility. Tad vijnanartham sagurum eva abhigachet. To know that truth, one should go to a teacher. If somebody doesn't have these two qualities, that going to teacher part will never happen. What are those two? One is faith, Shraddha, that this knowledge is strong enough, powerful enough to give me what I am looking for. And sometimes you might not see that connection. Some topics might come in Vedanta where you start wondering, I am looking for happiness. Why should I study creation, Srishti Prakriya? What we need there is faith. Some statements of Vedanta might not gel well with us. Jagat is an appearance. There is nothing other than Brahman. He says, I don't see it. But the student says, I have faith that this is true. And one day he comes to see what he believed in. That is the journey of faith to conviction. And humility. Humility is not this we will discuss in 13th chapter. Amanitvam. Shankaracharya lists the first quality, Bhagavan Krishna lists the first quality for knowledge as humility. Meaning the student should feel there is a lot more to learn. The student, when he looks within, he should feel there is a lot more to improve. That is his humility part. And whatever he has, the first line, right? Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirveda mayat. Some qualities will be there. But his understanding is, one who has kept these qualities in me is Bhagavan. Guna tumhara dekhai nija dosha. Valmiki Rishi tells Bhagavan Rama, those people who say, good qualities are yours, guna tumhara. If at all there is any good quality in that person, he says, that is by God's grace. And any negative quality, he says, that belongs to my vasanas. That is the humility part. Such a student will benefit the most from study of scriptures. Because many a times, Shankaracharya's commentary, you say, Upanishad mantras, they are willing to give us so many things. But our own window of the mind is closed. Gurudev gives an example. He says, sun is ready to shine, illumine the room. But if I keep my windows closed and complain that sun is not illumining my room, sun is partial to my neighbor, neighbor only opened the window. These two qualities, they are listed in Srimad Bhagavatam again. It comes in the portion of Dhundukari story. Dhundukari was such a, how will you define Dhundukari? Very chaotic person. Anything that anybody can do wrong, everything he did. But finally, he becomes a preta. Subtle body is there, gross body is not there. Hunger, thirst he feels, but no gross body to satiate that hunger, thirst. When that happens, the advice that Naradji gives to Gokarnaji is to do Bhagavad Saptaha. Gokarnaji does Bhagavad Saptaha. Dhundukari listens, sitting in a bamboo. 7 days, 7 knots of those bamboos open up, and he gets moksha. Parikshitji Maharaj is surprised. He said, Dhundukari did so many wrong things. How come he gained moksha? There this verse comes, Vishwasaha Guru Vakyeshu Swasmin Deenatva Bhavana. One who has faith in Guru and teaching, Shastra, and has Swasmin Deenatva Bhavana. In himself, he sees lot of things to improve. In himself, he feels there is lot to learn. I don't know so many things. So, Swindinatva Bhavana. That combination, he says, will remove all impurities and it will bring knowledge in that sadhaka. If at all there is any kind of limitation, mind is lacking in Sadhana Chatustaya, it will come in time. So that is indicated by this term, Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Abhigachet. Those two qualities. Only one who has faith and one who has humility, that person will feel, I need this knowledge and I have to learn systematically. Actually, these two qualities are true for any knowledge. If somebody is going to university to study and feels I know more than the professor, let him say what he wants. I know what to do. So that's an obstruction we are putting on our mind for what we could have gained. Professor is not going to lose anything. I'll be the one who is losing out. Now, how to go to the teacher? What should you take? Samit Panihi. This is a traditional way of going to the teacher. Taking some faggot sticks, wooden sticks in the hand. This wooden stick, the symbolic meaning of that is, just like the wooden stick is ready to catch fire, it is dried from the dampness, whatever could be there. He says the Vishaya Vasanas, they have dried up. Tendency of this mind to seek something outside. He says, I have seen that. Don't give me that same solution. Guru will not give anyway. But he says, whatever you are ready to teach, that I am willing to learn. So it's a symbol of commitment, symbol of readiness. He says, I am available to be molded. You mold me in whatever way you want. I am willing to be molded. That is the reason why Samit Pani is taken. It is not necessary that always we take Samit Pani and go. It's a traditional way of saying that student expresses this desire to learn. For example, if you read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan gave this teaching open-heartedly, with so much love to Arjuna. Somebody might say, Arjuna did not take faggot sticks. His faggot stick was that shloka which he says, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Yachreyasyat nishchitam bruhitanme. Bhagwan, I am your Shishya, I am your disciple, I am ready to learn. I might be the greatest archer, but right now I want to learn. There is something which I want to work on, because of which I am not able to see things clearly. That is his faggot stick. You look at any text where teaching has been given and try to find out where was Samit Pani brought. You'll find some verse where the teacher acknowledges the student has faith and he has humility. Srimad Bhagavatam, another thing is also given. One who doesn't have these two, there is no obligation for the teacher to teach. He can outrightly say no. The point is, the student will not benefit at that point. It is not to say that teacher is arrogant or anything, nor is he proud of this knowledge. He just feels he has to go back to previous to ashrayas. Either he has to go back to upasanashraya, or if he is completely raw, somebody who is tamasic, What Vishwasa and humility are very far apart. Even karma is not done well, then he will be sent back to Karmashraya. One day he has to come here. It's only temporary detour. Go back to the first step, second, then come here. Somebody like Taponji Maharaj, you don't have to go too far. He would be very, very particular about whom he teaches. That is this quality. Now, responsibility of the student. What was the responsibility of the student? If he has gotten true quest for knowledge, he should approach a teacher. Just like if somebody wants to study music sincerely, they have to approach a teacher. Study any art form sincerely, they have to approach a teacher. Same with spiritual knowledge also. If qualities are there, qualification is there, that qualification will take that student to the teacher. And he goes with Samit Pani, spirit of surrender, commitment to study. Now, what are the qualities of the teacher? Two qualities are given. Shrotriyam, Brahma Nistham. Shrotriyam, Brahma Nistham. Let us see the word Brahma Nistham first. Nishtha comes from the root word stha. Stha means sthiti, position. Where is his position all the time? Where does he abide in? Where does he revel in? In Brahman. That is why he is called as Brahma Nistha. Nishtha means Nitaram Sthitihi. Nitaram Sthitihi, constantly abiding in that state. Which is what state? It is not some other experience. Being awakened to their own true nature as pure consciousness. Not seeing this world as absolutely real. That sthiti is called as Brahmanistha. Shankaracharya gives an example. We can take some slightly different examples. People who are into yogasana, you ask them any time of the day, one part of their mind is always thinking about yogasana. Their food is related to yoga timing. Their routine is related to yogasana timing. Different facets, even interaction, what time they wake up, what time they sleep, everything is surrounded by when will I get to do this 2-3 hours of yogasana practice. Because his state is always in yoga, he will be called as Yoganishta. Yoganishta. Somebody might be into Ayurveda. Any discussion you start, it will come to Vata Pitta Kapha. That is how he thinks. That this food item, it has more Vata. This food item, more Pitta. So that is Ayurveda Nishtha. Means his faith, his anchor is Ayurveda. Like that, this Guru's anchor is Brahman. Shankaracharya says, just like there are people who are Japanishta, Tapanishta. Anything happens, quickly they will go to Japa. Quickly they will go to Stotram. He is helping us appreciate what is this Nishtha. Just like you have people who are Yoganishta, Ayurveda Nishtha, Japanishta, Tapanishta. Mind always thinking about those topics. Guru is somebody whose quality is Brahmanishta. Now the previous word is Shrotriyam. That is another very important word. Shrotriyam means every teacher was a student at some point. And he has learned in Sampradaya, in tradition. That traditional learning is the second quality, which is Shrotriya. Traditional learning. Means what Upanishad mantra wants to say is, this spiritual path is not some intellectual inquiry. Meaning that teacher who has been a student, he should have done sadhana himself first before he can recommend any sadhana to the student, to his student. He should have done sadhana himself. Then only he can appreciate the difficulties, the obstacles, pain points in doing sadhana. And if the student gets stuck somewhere, he will know how to remove that student from that difficulty. In Gurudev's life, we see one anecdote where he did some yogic practices because of which he had insatiable hunger. And he didn't know what to do because no matter how many rotis he ate, still feeling hungry. Then he goes to Anandamayi Ma, who was a yogic practitioner. She knew yogic practices and she cures him of that. Meaning, unless Guru has done that sadhana, they will not know how to help others. So Shrotriyam means that he has studied in Sampradaya and he has himself done sadhana. Meaning he has also gotten all the Sadhana Chatustaya, which is necessary, that has come. Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, he gives a nice example. He says, Guru is like a doctor. Dakshinamurti Bhagwan, Bishaje Bhavaroginam. Doctor cures disease of body. Dakshinamurti Guru cures disease of the mind. And he says, there are different types of doctors. Some doctors will just give you prescription. And they will say, you go. And if you follow, well and good. If not also, doesn't matter. But some doctors, they will hold you to the table, feed that syrup inside, then only send you. He said that is second type of guru. One guru will just give you sadhana and say you do. But those whom he has special attention on, he says that person he will make sure is like the second guru, second doctor. Making sure that he does sadhana, making sure that he overcomes his imperfections. Puja Guruji gave another interpretation of this. Why doctor example is given for Guru. He said, doctor cannot complain, only sick people come to me. He says, from morning till evening, only those who are sick are coming. He said, like that Guru cannot complain, only ignorant people are coming to me. But you see that ignorance is a very important thing to appreciate. The result of ignorance is pride. The result of ignorance is ego. The result of ignorance is anger. To see beyond these imperfections in a student, that is the quality of a guru. Just like doctor sees beyond the imperfections of the patient, he knows how to cure it. The one who is Shrotriya Guru will be able to see beyond the imperfections of current imperfections of the student. The best example for this we see in Kakabhushandiji's story. Kakabhushandiji says, let me tell you about my past. I was born in Ayodhya. And he says, I was such a talkative person and used to get very angry, would not allow anybody to talk. But all these imperfections, he says, my Guru saw beyond. And he gave me mantra for Bhagwan Shiva, which I did religiously. Every day I would go pour one small cup on Bhagwan Shiva, Har Har Mahadev. That was my sadhana. And that sadhana was so powerful, it brought Advaita Jnanam also in my life. That is this quality of a teacher, Shrotriyam. One who has the compassion to see beyond imperfections of the student. Okay, what all things did we see? Shrotriyam means studied under Sampradaya. Second, Shrotriyam meaning is done sadhana himself, has Sadhana Chatustaya. And third is the compassion to go beyond imperfections. Otherwise, the teaching is not possible. We'll get stuck with outer layer only. Behind that outer layer of imperfection is a perfect self, which the teacher helps the student to discover for himself. Fourth meaning of Shrotriya is he holds on to scriptures. In any of his teaching, you will not hear the statement, "This is my view." Even if you see Bhagwan Krishna's teaching, he says this is Shastra's opinion. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. So whatever scriptures have said, to present it is my responsibility, to clarify it is my responsibility, not give any new teaching. I had read in one place, somebody asked Gurudev after his talk, in your talk, several times you keep mentioning, Krishna says, Krishna says, Krishna says. What do you have to say? He says, I have nothing to say other than what Krishna has to say. That is his quality of Shrotriya, for whom scriptures are more important than any view or an opinion. Unadulterated Vedanta. Just like we have unadulterated ghee, not mixed with anything, Vedanta should not get mixed with any other social view, political view, no other viewpoints part of this teaching. And that holding on to scriptures, what it does is, it gives the vocabulary to teach. It is one thing to be a good singer. It is another thing to teach singing well. One thing to be a good cook. Another thing to teach how to cook. Because you need the vocabulary, you need the steps of how to systematically transmit. Now this is where you will find there are so many saints, so many mystic saints who have gotten great insights into the truth. When you read about their life, when you read about some of their compositions, you get goosebumps, you will get thrills. Oh, how come they were able to see this? But the point is, when you start walking their path, very likely we will get lost. Only one sentence they held on to, and they got enlightened. Now you try holding on to that one sentence, and you say it is not taking me anywhere. Or at least it is difficult to just hold on to that one because I have so many other things which I need to resolve first. Mundakopanishad only, one example will come. The path of a mystic is like flight of a bird. At one point you saw bird at point A, another point you will see bird at point B. What you don't know is, how did it go from point A to point B? What was the path? Marking those paths, marking that path well, is role of Shastra. Marking that path well is role of systematic study. What is stage 1? What is stage 2? How to go to the next step? What is Sadhana Chatustaya? Look at Viveka Chudamani, the systematic way in which Shankaracharya is elaborating the topics. How to prepare oneself, how to inquire about Anatma, how to understand, to relate with that Anatma. Transactional world will be through body and mind. How do we live such that transactional life is beautiful? Then how to transcend it? Paramah ka Atma. That is the quality of Shrotriya Guru. Systematic teaching that will make sure that we get a journey for how to walk this spiritual path. Okay. Our role stops at Samit Pani, okay? Until there is our responsibility. Upanishad mantra just gives those last two so that we know. Actually, it is given so that if you read the qualities of Guru, qualities of student, you realize it's better to be student only. Brahma Nistha, Shrotriyam, and we should be students. That is the best, safest way. Our Guru Parampara is very powerful to give us what we need. Now let us see the Bhashya part. It's a very nice Bhashya. We'll go slow. Lot of elaboration is on just two words. Pariksha Lokan. Okay. 41 page number of your Gita Press book. Atha idanim asmat sadhya sadhana रूपात् सर्वस्मात् संसारात् विरक्तस्य परस्यां विद्यायां अधिकार प्रदर्शनार्थम् इदम् उच्यते परीक्ष्य यत् एतत् ऋग्वेदादि अपरविद्या विषयम् स्वाभाविकी अविद्या काम दोषवत् पुरुष अनुष्ठेयम् अविद्यादि दोषवन्तम् एव पुरुषं प्रति विहितत्वात् तत् अनुष्ठान कार्य भूताश्च लोकाः ये दक्षिणोत्तर मार्ग लक्षणाः फलभूताः ये च विहित अकरण प्रतिषेध अतिक्रम दोषसाध्याः नरक तिर्यक प्रेतलक्षणाः तान् एतान् परीक्ष्य प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगमैः सर्वतः याथात्म्येन अवधार्य. Shankaracharya's sentences are so long. This sentence, how many lines is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 9 lines. In your Gita Press book, it would be even longer because the column width is less. But it is just one flow of thought. I will not try to start this today because it will definitely go over time. Last few minutes, if anybody wants to ask something, feel free to type or raise your hand. I'll give you some time to type, then you can ask. Yes.
Why the word Hiranyagarbha has been used and why not any word to reference Bhagavan?
Why the word Hiranyagarbha is used and not any other word to reference Bhagavan? Where is it used? 11th mantra. Whenever Upasana topic comes, majority of Upasanas in Upanishads are on Hiranyagarbha. Upasana, one of the fundamental quality is to expand the mind. Just like mind identifies with one body, through Upasana, that Upasaka identifies with whole creation. So that consciousness which is presiding over this creation at mind level is Hiranyagarbha. So it's an easier way for the sadhaka to connect. Okay. What is the best way to approach a teacher in the modern days? It is true. We should not take Samit Pani today. Gurudev, he mentions it on a very funny note. Katopanishad. If a student reads his Mundaka mantra, Samit Pani he has to take, neem stick he takes, and the teacher smiles. He has no teeth. So please take that which is required for the teacher, he says. The best way to approach a teacher is to be willing to learn. If we can do our Shravanam single pointedly, that is also offering to the teacher only. If you are looking all around, anybody comes, you see there. You see, that is the dosha in Shravanam. If mind gets distracted in Shravanam, that is one way of saying that something else is more important than this knowledge. If we can do our mananam well, ask the right questions. You see, that is also a very good way of approaching the teacher. Somebody like Parvati ji, when she asks the right question, Bhagavan Shiva praises her so much. Dhanya dhanya Giriraj Kumari. Tuma sama nahi kou upakari. You asked about Rama, precise question. There is nobody who has done greater favor on me than you. Because he says, my mind likes to think about Rama. If you have asked me that thing, that is the best thing. And if we can do our sadhanas well, nididhyasanam, that is also another way of acknowledging this teaching and the teacher. Is it possible for a person to have vairagya and still continue to work, perform duties in this world? It is very much possible. What will not be possible is performing duties to get some joy. Performing duties for some recognition. Both cannot go together. Vairagya from these things and seeking the same things. That cannot go together. That is why from karma he has graduated to karmashraya, upasanashraya. From upasanashraya he has graduated to brahmashraya. So upasanashraya to brahmashraya, qualification was vairagya. So whatever worldly things are there which promise permanent joy, starting from sense objects, people, all the way till Brahmaloka. That expectation of joy in that work and duty, that is removed. Okay. All right. Hari Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.